Hello, I'm Dan Borscher. This is ABC News Mornings, coming to you from the lands of the Gadigal people. Investigators from the South Korean anti-corruption agency have entered the residence of impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol in an attempt to detain him. East Asia correspondent Kathleen Calderwood is following developments and joins us now live. What's the latest there, Kathleen?
Well, Dan, we heard this morning that the investigators, the officers from the South Korean anti-corruption agency were attempting to enter the presidential residence. They have entered the residence, and we're just hearing now that they have moved past the military unit at that residence, and they're currently in a confrontation with the Presidential Security Service. Now, I understand that that's not violent in any way, but of course that security service is there to protect the president, so he seems to be resisting arrest. So we'll be closely following how that all unfolds this morning over the coming hours. This arrest warrant was granted or approved by the Constitutional Court a couple of days ago after the anti-corruption agency had summoned the impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol 3 times with him ignoring each of those summonses. And so we've been waiting the last couple of days to see how they would try and execute that warrant. He's had supporters protesting outside the presidential office now for a couple of days, with local media reporting that some of them yesterday were in fact removed forcibly by police.
And Kathleen, that sounds like it very much might be an impasse if you have the authorities trying to carry out this court-ordered arrest document and then that military or security service that is to protect the president blocking that. That would seem that it's going to be very difficult to progress.
Yes, it does seem that way. I'm just getting some information through from my colleague in Seoul. She says there are more police coming into the residence area, so seemingly to resolve any kind of confrontation, but she does say there's no violence at this stage. His lawyers are also saying that they're going to challenge this warrant, so yes, it could end up at something of an impasse. The agency, the anti-corruption agency, only has until Monday to execute this warrant. Now, the sort of theory is that they're doing so today because we have seen those protests out the front, as we've seen over the last few weeks in the wake of this entire martial law saga, that South Koreans have an incredible capacity to protest. So that agency, those officers trying to execute the warrant before the weekend, where we might see even larger protests, while also not sort of leaving it to the last minute on Monday. Of course, this comes exactly a month after the president did make that bizarre declaration of martial law, which he lifted only 6 hours later after the parliament voted to block it. We've since seen him impeached by the parliament. We saw his replacement impeached by the parliament. The country is now on its 2nd acting president, while the Constitutional Court considers whether they continue with the president's removal from office. And of course, this happening also as the country is in a week-long period of mourning following that horrific plane crash at the weekend. So really an extremely tumultuous few weeks for South Korea.
Yeah, most definitely. And in amongst that news that you just shared about what appears to be an escalation of the police and authorities trying to enact this, we've got some reporting out of Seoul that this is from the lawyers of the president saying, quote, "The execution of a warrant that is illegal and invalid is indeed not lawful. Legal actions will be taken regarding the illegal execution of the warrant," which would appear to be an escalation of what we've heard already from the president himself, saying that he intends to fight this vigorously.
That's right, and it's interesting to note that the president in South Korea is immune from prosecution of almost everything, but there's a couple of charges that he's not immune from, one of which is insurrection. So it will be interesting to see if the lawyers pursue that kind of argument, or how otherwise they plan to to challenge this, but it is, according to the South Korean media, the first time that a sitting president has faced arrest. So it's certainly an unprecedented situation in South Korea at the moment.
Yeah, and we will come back to you as the circumstances unfold there. East Asia correspondent Kathleen Calderwood.